One of the main features of Aion is we will have zones called the Abyss, which is a zone where the three factions that I've mentioned before will all be present. And so let me go more into Abyss. In the non-Abyss zones, Asmodeans will only play with other Asmodeans, and Elios will only play in their given area, and there will be no interaction between these two factions. But in the Abyss, the Elios and Asmodeans basically play in the same zone. To really put it simply, it's kind of like a PvP zone, PvP active zone, so you can attack your any enemy faction PC without any penalty. The Abyss will be a big zone with several floating islands that can be only crossed by flying. So and each island will have a strategic point, kind of like a castle in its middle. Enemy factions will fight over who controls a certain castle, and at the start, the castles will be controlled by the NPC faction, the Balar, and it kind of starts out like a raid as you attack the NPCs guarding the castle. So, and if you defeat the NPC that guards the innermost area of the castle, you gain control of the castle. Also, the enemy faction plays in this area. They can jump in any time during that raid. So it can a PvE raid can turn into a PvP situation in any given situation. So, and also once a player gains control of a castle, it becomes controlled by one PC faction, and the enemy faction can attack it anytime they want to gain control of that castle. And also, the Baller can spawn at that moment, and then it can also, a PvP situation will turn into a PvE situation with NPCs attacking both sides. So we're working on coming up with a very elaborate spawn system for the Baller within the Abyss, and it will actively be it will take into account how many castles is being controlled by which faction, and if, say, the Asmodeans have control over more castles than the Elios, then the Balar will spawn more in the Asmodean controlled areas, so as to kind of weaken them, and the AI will also kind of be more predisposed to attack the Asmodean faction. It will kind of act as a balancing factor for the two PC factions.